Rebel Dragon 95. This is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. So this is Aqua's story critical mode level 1 any percent, which is actually the fastest any percent in this game, for reasons that will be plainly obvious when we actually get into the run. So we start timing from character selects. That's why I'm loading up the character select screen. Alright, so time will begin when I get to play as Aqua, and then we get to do the wonderful fight of orbs. Alright, so I'll go in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Right, so every character has a fight with orbs, and they are basically all kind of very different variations of each other because they all start in different positions on the map. Aqua kind of starts in the worst position, so we have to do a pretty specific combo to try and hit the first orbs into each other. I missed it there because that's pretty normal. Okay, then it's normally all about cleanup after that. Trying not to let Ven go too nuts. That's fine. Alright, so we shot lock the second wave. So yeah, as you can imagine, this is a pretty harsh reset point normally in like all Birth by Sleep characters, so I can actually, and they should be able to finish that off. Alright, so now I'm going to hit these two into each other. Go up to this one, finish, Blizzard. Do that on that one, and then to go nuts on that one, but that should be fine. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That can go a lot worse, and you can lose a lot more time there. But if you get everything right there, it does go really, really fast. So yeah, at the beginning here, the story is all based around Master Ericus there giving the Keyblade Master exam to Ven and to Aqua and Terra, and then sending them off on their mission. So the first place we're going to go is we're going to go to Castle of Dreams. So Castle of Dreams has got a couple of fights we have to do. It's got a escort and it has a boss fight. But most of that is movement. So movement in this game is all based around doing your cartwheel. Between each cartwheel, I'm taking a tiny step and then cancelling that step into another cartwheel over and over again. This actually just gives you a slight forward boost of momentum and also stops you from dropping the inputs on the cartwheels. And it saves a slight amount of time in every single screen, which you do it in. And this applies to all characters, so every character has to do this for optimal movement. Some characters it's easier than others, like Terra is a lot easier because he has slide rather than cartwheel or dodge roll, so he just dashes forward, so it's a little bit easier, right? So yeah, that was a D-Link fall. So by going into D-Link while in the air, the game can only play the animation for going into a D-Link while on the ground, so it drops you to the floor. If you jump, you drop even faster. I don't know why you drop faster, but you do. So we use that to drop down faster. Right, so I'm heading over to Jacques. So I'm going to pick up a high potion chest, and then I've got some walking I've got to do. So Kamaguri, if you've got anything you want to go ahead and say, please feel free to do so now.
Alright, we have a donation by Dips with precisely $11.19 saying, "Greetings and good luck from a washed up Kingdom Hearts 3 runner." Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right. So, I'm actually going to do a quick menu here. The menu here is to buy a couple of very important items. So we're going to sell Quick Blitz, we're going to sell Barrier Surge, we're going to sell the High Potion, and we're going to buy Slide Dash, we're going to buy 2 Blizzards, and we're going to buy a Sleep. Or if I can actually buy the stuff that would be useful. Right, so our deck setup is actually pretty simple. It's just a bunch of Blizzards and a Slide Dash. And then we're going to put on the God ability. There we go. Right, so level 1 is very broken in this game, but I will get into it once I've beaten the first boss. Oh, I was holding forward there, game. Thank you. That happens sometimes if you're not holding forward fully. Alright, so this is Jacques Escort. So this guy has 5 different paths you can take, and depending on the path he takes, depends on how many enemies spawn. Normally in beginner runs, you would just kind of hope to God he goes on the path where he spawns no enemies. But on crit, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just build up the Spellweaver finisher, and then I'm just gonna kill enemies and clear basically two or three of the paths for him, and hope he takes one of them. Yeah, he's taking a decent one. Yeah. So he took the middle path, which would have spawned all the enemies that I killed. So it's just worth it to just do that sometimes. So yeah. Alright, so that was Jacquet's score. So right after that, we get put into a boss fight with the first boss of this run, which is Curse Coach. Curse Coach is a giant pumpkin, but we're going to just do some blizzards on it, get into Spellweaver, stun it using the combos, and then, yeah, their level 1 takes effect. So, start this fight. I need to go attack, Blizzard, Blizzard, Thunder, Blizzard. That was good, that was good. Now I need to pray to God to catch him. Right, getting hit there is actually fine. He can do about 4 different attacks. Getting hit is actually perfectly fine. Because you have enough HP to survive, even though you're on crit, so. And then, yeah, this is level 1 taking effect, so yeah. Yeah, so that's level 1. So what level 1 does is when you equip EXP 0, it automatically scales your damage down and up a little bit to the battle level of that world. But the problem is, the finishers in this game have a set amount of damage when you have EXP 0 turned on. This goes for things like commands that are counted as finishers and finishers itself. But what happens is moves that have like, I don't know, 40 to 80 hitboxes, yeah, they just deal that same brick of finisher damage that amount of time. And this does scale up with the battle level. So the higher the battle level goes, or the combat level in this game, basically the more damage your finishers actually do. So it's very broken, and when they introduced this, they introduced it in the PS3 version of this game when they decided to make level 1 less boring, because on originals, yeah, you just did chip damage. You did 1 HP of damage per hit. And on some late game bosses, you couldn't damage them unless you crit, which was very funny, and the crit still did 1 HP of damage. Which is just like, why? So right, so something else very unique to Aqua Crit is we're going to collect ice cream. We don't do this in any other character, but we're going to collect some ice cream. I'm going to get hit here. Alright, cool. That was kind of slow, but whatever. Alright, so we're going to collect some ice cream. So we're going to Spellweaver these guys for some ice cream. And go over there. Alright, so that was okay. It's a little bit slow because my positioning was wrong because I attacked a little bit too early to do the setup. Right, so now we're going to do a quick sequence break. So by pushing ourselves against that bush, we can grab that ledge. And you're not meant to get up here until you have air slide, but if you have slide dash, you can just kind of go over there anyway. It doesn't really matter. And we pick up a fish and fire auger. Fish and fire auger is useful in one fight, and then it's actually just a selling material because it sells for a lot of money. And we kind of need money because the deck setup in this is pretty expensive. Right, so. Oh, sleep, poison. Oh, and then you hold forward. Right, so what I did there was actually called a pause cancel. If you pause in the middle of animations and you bring up the regular menu screen where you can change your deck and your Keyblade and such, basically it cancels whatever animation you're in and puts you back to neutral, which means you can do things like cartwheel straight out of them or enter loading zones faster. And just small things like that. It doesn't save time many places, but it does save time in a couple of places where we get to use it. Right, so this is Magic Mirror. So Magic Mirror is affected by a number of different status conditions, but specifically he's affected by sleep. And sleep messes with his hit counter, so we're going to be using sleep to mess with his hit counter. So sleep, blizzard, blizzard, 2 hits that. So you have to do this in the specific order that I'm doing, or this fight does just break and he doesn't work. Blizzard, blizzard, then poison, slide dash, and then that should kill him. Alright, so that was Magic Mirror. Pretty easy fight, but you have to do everything specifically there. If you get that wrong, then you have to basically fight out the fight normally. And if you don't know how to do that, you lose a lot of time. Alright, cool. So that was Dwarf Woodlands. That was a nice, easy world. Something else that I need to mention as well, you probably noticed that I got a Keyblade at the end, and I got a Keyblade right there. I'm not actually going to change my Keyblade because on level 1, your stats don't matter, so changing your Keyblade does nothing. So the only reason to change your Keyblade is you get one way later in endgame that basically increases the amount your command gauge builds up. That's the only one that has an effect on level 1 because that's not an effect based on strength or magic. So, but every other Keyblade, it's pretty much useless on level 1 because it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, we pretty much just use the beginner Keyblade the whole time because we're cool like that. Right, so if I can do this. Alright, so something I did there as well, which I tried to do in Dwarf Woodlands, where if you hit an enemy with a sliding dash, it actually cancels out the animation because sliding dash is meant to be a combo tool. So leaving you in recovery after hitting it would be silly, so they made it so it cancels the animation. What that means is you can then cancel that, you can then cancel into basically anything you want. So You can pretty much do any kind of movement you want after you do that, but yeah, so I just quickly do my menu here. So as you can imagine, we're going to be using Magnet Thunders for a little bit. So Magnet Thunder is very busted on this game, and 60 FPS only made it better. They somehow managed to magnify the damage when they upped this game from 30 to 60 FPS. I don't know what Square do, but they managed to do it. Right, cool, I did it. Right, so that's a piece of movement tech. If you drop down and then attack an enemy, you actually get a little bit of a height boost, so you can use that to get up there. And that room is actually genuinely scary, so the fact I just basically like waltz through there is actually pretty good. Right, so this is Goons 1. So we have Prince Philip here, and basically Aqua has the like kind of the worst of the party members, because Philip is actually kind of good at video games sometimes, which we don't want for party members, because party members in this game, when they get the killing blow on enemies, they steal things like EXP and CP. On level 1, we may not get things like, you know, we may not get EXP, but we still get CP. So our commands still need to level up. So if Philip kill steals, he'll steal our EXP for our command. So we have to be very careful about that. So, but the strats you do tend to basically nullify Philip messing with you. So it's pretty, not too much of a problem, but it can be. And if you notice it, you just have to kill a couple of extra enemies. Alright, so we're going into Goons 2. Goons 2 is a much longer fight and much more scary. Even more so when you don't kill all the enemies like I'm going to do. Alright, so we're going to go straight over to the left-hand side into a corner to basically take out a couple of the guys that we have to take out, specifically the little goons with the rocks. Basically, all the ones that aren't the archers have on the ground that have to be taken out for this to move on, for Philip to want to go do his reaction command. So now we've got to go do that. That's fine. And Philip's going to hit that guy. I thought he was. Alright, so now we've got that. Thunder. Oh, thank you. And that should do that. And I basically have to make sure this guy dies, or Philip's gonna... Oh, Philip. That's fine, now Philip's gonna go over here. Alright, I have my slide dash prepped because I need it for a piece of movement in a second. So you're meant to jump up here and ledge grab, but the ledge grab takes forever for the animation to complete, so what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna do that. That just grabs a wellspring. The wellspring's a crystal we need for way later in the game to meld once more. And then there's actually a pulsing crystal chest which we also need in this fight, but yeah, I ain't gonna grab it because you'd normally get a drop from an enemy pretty consistently in this. So Thunder. So I'm just making sure these guys don't mess with me, and then I'm gonna jump up here, grab those guys. Okay, that did not work. Okay, now we're gonna go. Philip is really go nuts on these guys. There we go. And that should be the end of Goons. Right, so I have to go hit a crank, and once I've hit the crank, oh, lovely. Once I hit the crank, then you can go off there. There's actually an invisible hitbox after that reaction command there where you can dodge off of it, but it's kind of weird. You have to hold like a really specific direction for it to put you in the right place, but yeah. So we obtained high jump, yay. Right, so I need to actually kill some enemies because I need some D-Link back because I used my D-Link to grab Ice Barrage, which is an incredibly broken command. So there's a group of floods and some other enemies down here that we're just going to Magnet Thunder. So we're going to Magnet, Thunder, Thunder, and that should give me all my stuff back. Right. I think I need to, yeah, I'll do that just for safety. Right, so another thing I also skipped as well is there's a couple of fleeting crystal chests so there's a fleeting crystal, if I can talk, chest in Dwarf Woodlands that I also skipped. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to use Grumpy, and then we're going to throw this, and pray to God we get a drop. So Grumpy is Treasure Raid, and oh, this is going well. Right, that should give me that. Alright, so now I need to go spawn the other wave of enemies, and then get good luck. So now I've got to go. Please give me a drop, otherwise I have to leave the room and re-enter. Okay, guess I'm leaving the room and re-entering. That's useful. Because you need a fleeting crystal drop from those guys, so I need to go back in now. Oh, I don't have D-Link either, which means I'm going to have to go over here. Magna. Magna. It's kind of bad RNG. Right, so I'm going to try this again. Let's see. Really, game? Come on, thank you. Please, just do this. Thank you, that's all I needed. Let's go, we can leave. Alright, so that's just... It saves 15 seconds if you get that from, like, your first throw. So it's always worth just going for it. Alright, so this is Melding. So we can put commands together to create other commands. We're going to put a bunch of commands together to make a bunch of stronger ones with magic haste on them. Magic haste makes it so that your magic commands recharge faster. So we're going to be using that to go pretty fast. Okay. Don't forget high jump. There we go. Right, cool. Right, so now we're going into Dragon Maleficent. Now, Dragon Maleficent's actually kind of a difficult fight. You need to basically do enough damage to her as fast as possible to basically beat her, to kill her before her phases take place. But she's basically programmed to go through her phases in a particular way. So by doing this strat, you need to basically go as fast as you can with your commands to make sure that you beat her to everything. Oh my god, I'm probably gonna not get what I want, so we're gonna just have to take a flight, I think, because I'm not playing this well. Yeah, so what I'll do is I will mash through this. I'm probably going to get flighted on, so we're going to have to do that. Alright, cool. I could have probably gone for the Spellweaver, but it probably wouldn't have killed, so I'm fine doing this. But we'll get the RC and then we'll do the... Alright, so now I've got to mash out. There we go. And that should end the fight. So you can do that without having to do that, but my mashing wasn't very good and my timings weren't very good, so it wasn't going to happen, so I took the safety route. Because there is an invisible hitbox on that dragon head after you do the reaction command where Phil throws you, and it just one-shots you, so it's not worth even trying to risk it if you know you're going to mess up the fight, so... Alright, cool. So now we get to go to Radiant Gardens. So Radiant Gardens kind of where like mid-game kind of starts in this game. And then we get into the next Ring of Worlds. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick bit of movement and grab a little bit of CP from some enemies. So Kamaguri, if you got anything you want to say, feel free to go ahead.
I would just like to remind everyone about the cause we are raising money for, which is Alzheimer's Fonden. Alzheimer's is a progressive disease where dementia symptoms gradually worsen over several years. In its early stages, memory loss is mild, but with late-stage Alzheimer's, individuals lose the ability to carry on a conversation and respond to their environment. Thankfully, we have raised $66,000 so far for this cause, so thank you all for your generous donations, and let's keep them coming.
Oh yeah, right, so we're going into Mickey Fight. We call this Mickey Fight because Mickey's here. I don't actually remember the name of this room off the top of my head, so we called it Mickey Fight. So Mickey here has the same problems as Phil. He'll take your kills and take your XP and CP, but he's also kind of useful because he actually does quite a bit of damage, so we're going to basically try and use him to... Oh, that did not go how I wanted it to. That's actually fine. Nice, I got it to... Alright, cool. So I managed to bait that in the right direction there. So now we're going to go Thunder, Thunder, Magna. We're going to go... Where's this enemy? That was so silly. So Arch Ravens, they only attack you when they see drops on the floor. So if there's no drops, they do just fly away from you and just kind of go away. So that's what happened there because I failed to kill it with the Spellweaver. Right, we're going to pick up the Mind Square chest here. Then we're going to go... Oh, I need to meld first. We're going to meld the last Thundara that we need. And then we're going to make basically our deck for quite a lot of the rest of the run. I'm going to shove the Mind Square on, we're going to shove Ice Barrage on. So, Ice Barrage is basically our way of getting into Spellweaver pretty easily, so After the next fight, we actually can't use Ice Barrage once we're in Spellweaver because it causes us to get another command style called Blade Charge, which is just completely useless. So Spellweaver's like way better, so we never want that. So this is because Blade Charge is activated by using Fire and Ice magic while in Spellweaver. So we just, after Trentium, which is the fight we unlock it, we have to be very careful about what we do when we don't have a Spellweaver finisher. So, yeah. So, at the start of this fight, we're going to lock on an Ice Barrage to go into Spellweaver. And then I'm going to run up, do 3 commands as fast as I can, and then start Spellweavering. And if you get that wrong, you do sometimes get like triple hit from those fire orbs, and you do just die right out. Go backwards a bit. Now we're going to go like that. Thunder. Right, so Spellweaver again. Right, I have to avoid where those feet died because there's sometimes an invisible hitbox that can be there. Right, so now I'm gonna wait for this to go through its animation. So after the other 2 pieces of Trentium die, he does this spinny attack. So we're gonna unlock on, and we're gonna Spellweaver, then we're gonna do a lot of damage to him from underneath. Use Ice Barrage and that'll kill him. Easy fight. So if you do anything wrong in that fight, you will probably die. That big laser that he was shooting was a one-shot. If you stand too close to the pieces for too long, they have an invisible laser that one-shot you. Where the pieces die, if you go into those areas for too long, there's also an invisible laser that one-shots you. There's just so much stuff in that fight that one-shots you if you don't do it right. So you basically have to be just extremely careful while trying to go fast. Right, so we're going on to the next boss fight, which is Vanitas 1. So Vanitas actually is kind of interesting. I say interesting in kind of a bad way because he has this thing where he likes to dodge out of anything that you do and take no damage. So throughout the run, in all the characters, he's normally affected by a lot of different status elements at the start. Then the further you go in the game, he's affected by less and less. So in this version of the fight, he's affected by Magnet specifically, and a bunch of other stuff, but Magnet's the important one. So he's affected by Magnet, which means we can basically just get him stuck in a Magnet and infinite him. So that's what we're going to try and do. And he basically doesn't get to play if he gets caught in a Magnet. So it makes his fight, it turns his fight from kind of like annoying to basically free. So we're going to take a step forward. Easy money. Right, so as I said, I have to be careful of Blade Charge. So I'm going to be just doing Magnet, Thunder, Thunder, and Magnet Mind Squares. And then moving around a little bit to try and hope he gets caught by the Mind Squares. So now I'm in, now having Spellweaver finisher, I can use Ice Barrage now, so I can actually get a bit of damage in. Thunder. I'm basically watching my command deck here. I haven't got any of the Mind Square hits, which is very annoying. You want them to do a little bit of damage. And then we Spellweaver, and while he's inside there, he takes all the damage of the Spellweaver. Easy fight. Right, so that's the end of Radiant Garden. So Radiant Garden is basically where mid-game begins, so while the world map plays the cutscene and shows me all the worlds, Kamagura, if you've got anything you want to say, please go ahead.
Right, I would just like to remind you that you can receive a prize by donating. The amounts are cumulative, so make sure to check how much you've donated so far, if you can be eligible for a prize. For example, if you've donated $100, you're eligible for one of the 2 rumored PlayStation 5s. Do they actually exist? It's your chance to find out right now.
Alright, cool. So this is the first fight of Deep Space. So in every other BBS category, we go to Disney Town first, but we actually have items we need to grab in both Deep Space and in Disney Town and in Olympus Coliseum before we go to Disney Town, so we're just going to do that. But as you can see, Magnet Thunder is very busted. It just kind of one-shots everything, and then this waves Magnet Spellweaver, and that fight's over. That fight's easy. Alright, so after this, we get more into Deep Space, but we have to go then do a mini-game, which is very annoying, which we dubbed Gotcha Take That, because Aqua's voice lines throughout the entire mini-game are Gotcha Take That. So Gotcha Take That is actually kind of like a reset point. It's kind of extremely difficult to get a really good fight here because it's basically random. There's not much you can do to control it. You basically just have to not die, but also do it fast. So I'm going to be trying to do that while listening to Aqua go, gotcha, take that. So the reason why it's hard is because on crit you get 2-shot by these guys, but luckily the HP orbs do refill your HP to full if you can get some. So it's not too bad, but if multiple of them attack you at once, they can just combo you. They can just combo you, so there's not really anything you can do in some situations. So I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to go... Cool. The charge shot there's to make sure that one doesn't blindside me from the back. Oh, what am I doing? I nearly went to the middle. I nearly did what I do in PB attempts. Alright. Alright, so now I need to be very careful now. Oh my word, 2 of them. I'm going to click these HP orbs. I'm going to go to the middle a little bit. Okay, cool. This is actually going okay. Gotcha, take that. Gotcha, take that. Cool, cool. I don't think I'm going to get a spawn at the end. I did get a spawn at the end, but it's not too bad because it was a... Oh. That was actually really good. The end of that was really good. That was actually a pretty good... Gotcha, take that. Yeah, that fight can easily kill you. And right after that, we have to open a teleporter. And the teleporter is guarded by the jellyfish. And the jellyfish here are very scary. So jellyfish have an attack where they glow and they just attack you. At this point, we don't have any way to survive it, really. So we're just going to pray to God that we can get past them. I did not mean to do that. Cool. Try not to get bodied by the jellyfish. That should be the end of the jellyfish. If you do that right, you can actually bait all the jellyfish into attacking you, then they get caught in magnets. But they didn't want to attack me there, and also it's not... I didn't really want to do that during a marathon run. Right, so this is Stitch Fight. We call it a Stitch Fight because Stitch is here. So... And I can't... And this is like the prison room that Terra gets put in, but... Alright, so we're going to quickly do an Ice Barrage here. This stat takes out the entire first wave, or it should have done. And of course it didn't. Now we're going to go to there. Catch that guy. Go to the middle here slightly, do that. And that should take everything out. There we go. Right, so after this, you're meant to go fight Gantu. There was a route that we did on PS3, which we called Early Gantu, where we did actually go fight Gantu now. But we went back to the old route on PS4 and 5 because... Early Gantu doesn't save enough time to be worth going for, so... Oh, I went back into the wrong place. Doesn't save enough time to be worth going for. Back on PS3, due to loads, it used to save a bunch of time. But instead, we're going to do late Gantu because it doesn't really lose time anymore. So, the reason why early Gantu was a thing is because of room entries. But it makes getting these things random once Gantu's been defeated. So, if you go get them now, they are always there, so... That's why we do that now, and then we're going to go to OC and do that, then we're going to go to Disney Town, and then we'll come back and we'll deal with Gantu. He can wait for a minute. He doesn't need to get bodied now. Alright, so we're going to OC. So OC starts with a force fight with another party member, Hercules. Aqua gets so many fights with party members. Luckily, Hercules is pretty much useless, so we don't really need him. He basically just charges around and doesn't really do a lot, so... I'm just basically going to run around this stage, going Magnet Thunder Thunder, and then trying to get the good hit at the end. Let me see what that is. Oh, I needed that. I actually needed that. Good. I have a Pulsing Crystal, which means I'm all good on my items, on my items now. Go to the middle here. And... That was a perfect fight. That was insane. So I managed to Magnet in the right place there to catch everything at once, and then after the... second to last wave spawns, everything spawns and just gets dragged into the magnet if you do that right, and then just instantly dies like that. So we don't need to go into the Colosseum just yet. We need to go back here and grab some ice cream again. And then this is all the ice cream grabbing we do. So grabbing ice creams. Right, so now we're going to go do 10 rounds. So 10 rounds is 10 timed fights that we have to beat the time limits on, and then we get to move on. So the first 9 rounds are pretty easy, and then the 10th round, I'm going to try not to die because we do something pretty risky. I didn't mean to pause there. Right, so round 1's against some Scrappers. So Scrappers are pretty easy, but this one we used to build up the Spellweaver, so we're going to go Magna Ice Barrage, and that should build it up. And then I'm basically going to go Magna Thunder, Thunder, and Mind Square and other stuff throughout the rest of this. So, Kamaguri, if you got anything you want to say, feel free to go ahead.
Alright, we have a donation by FX with $81 with the comment bonk, and this is going to the Super Mario Kart All Cups run, the crowd control bonus run, so thank you very much for that huge donation.
Right, cool. So, these guys can actually give you a cure drop. If they give you a cure drop, you just have to not buy one in the shop. I didn't get one, so I have to waste like 2 seconds doing a menu. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that can happen sometimes. That's kind of annoying. And when you die there, you have to restart from the first round again. Right. That can happen sometimes if you're kind of slow on your movement, so my bad. That is a very risky strat to go for, to just do that, but luckily getting back there is not too bad, so. That's a very annoying place to die. That's one of the... I haven't died doing that strat in so long. Thunder, Thunder. Alright. Oh, and something good about... I don't want to say good about dying, but something kind of useful is that it makes sure that your Thundaras are leveled up. Because when you click retry, it actually keeps any CP you got from the fight you just did. So... And also get another chance at a cure drop, which is like, hooray, swings and roundabouts, right? I didn't get one anyway, but swings and roundabouts. Alright, so we're going to play safe now. 1, 2, 3. That's a safe strat. just walk up and barrier. But you can run up and squeeze in a magnet, but I wasn't going to try it again if I was going to fail it that time. It's a little bit risky when all 3 of them decide to shoot. 2 of them or 1 of them decide to shoot. It's not that bad, but... this Chrono Twist is kind of annoying because you can do that and teleport behind you and just like cartwheel on you and also kill you. So this game's really trying right now. Alright, so these are the shoegazers. Shoegazers are real easy. We're going to just run up Magnet. Thunder. Alright, so now I'm going to... If this game's trying to kill me, this might not work. So we're going to go... We're going to mash out a Thunder. I'm going to mash out a... Okay, cool. And that should end everything by spinning the camera. Right, so... Right, what happened there was those... Not all of those jellyfish are spawned at the same time. They kind of spawn in, like, when one dies, another one comes in. And you have to move around the camera to kind of manipulate spawns a little bit. So that's what I did there. We're going to sell with them. Sell that. Going to go Cure. Asuna. Through them. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh god. Alright, so now we're going to Disney Town. So Disney Town. We are grabbing some ice cream, so that's our Fabricadabras. So they basically just put us straight to Spellweaver. So now we can just go straight to Spellweaver whenever we want. So we're going to abuse that for the rest of the game. Sooner, pulsing. Oh god, if I can menu, that would help. Oh god. Alright, put on once more. Put on side dash, put on. Right, so now we have a lovely thing. We have Fruit Ball. So Fruit Ball is a 3-minute mini game placed right in the middle of this run. So now I know, Arco, if you want to say anything or talk about anything, you have a good 3 minutes to just go ahead.
Right, did you know that when you donate, you can choose an incentive or bid to influence a future run in this event? For example, in the upcoming Pokemon Gold Any Percent run, you can choose Totodile's nickname. Currently the name Croissant is winning, with Onion Plum in close second. However, you can also put your money towards the incentive to have a bonus run during the event, which will be Super Mario Kart All Cups Crowd Control. Currently it's sitting at $1,306 out of 10,000, but I'm sure we can make it by the end of the event. Another option is to choose the fate of the Maiden in Black in Demon's Souls 2020, the any percent run. Will the runner spare or kill? The choice is yours.
Right. Yeah, so this is Fruit Ball. We're just playing a bit of volleyball with these shoegazers. This is basically unskippable. Every character has a minigame they have to go through. Aqua just happens to have the longest one, which is funny because she has the shortest any percent. It just happens that this is like the longest of the minigames. You can't speed it up by any way, and Ben just has a short music thing he has to do. So the funny gimmick with this one is I'm going to get to 15 points and I'm going to put the controller down for a minute because I don't actually need to play. We actually have a meme in the community which is if you want to validate your run, you need to get 40 points. So, but I want to drink more than I want to validate a speed run of Birth by Sleep, so I'm going to take a drink. All right. And something funny, the shoegazers actually will score probably more on themselves than they score on you. So sometimes I'll stop playing to go to the toilet, or I'll be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna take a break for 2 seconds. I'll look at my phone. I'll look back up and I've got like 5-6 more points than I had when I like put the controller down, and I'm like, what have they been doing for the past like 30 seconds? Like not playing at all, like, or like playing incorrectly. Sometimes you do have to like actually play, because sometimes the AI does just get lucky and they do sometimes just start flinging stuff everywhere. Especially if they get the grapes to burst, because when the grapes burst, they get loads of mini things that can go in the goals, so you get a bunch of stuff. So yeah, sometimes they get a ton of points, sometimes they don't. So in this instance, they're getting some points, but I've only got 20 seconds left, so it should be fine for me to just like, you know, still stand here and wait until the end. Right, so after this, the end of Disney Town, we actually basically have a boss rush for the rest of the run. Because I've basically left all the bosses out, and then we're going to go through all the bosses using the Fabricadabras that I just made, which is our way of getting into Spellweaver automatically. So instead of having to build it up, we can just instantly go into it, and it speeds everything up by a lot than trying to build up your Spellweaver during fights. So due to map movement, the first place we're going to go is Gantu, because it's a little bit faster to drop to Gantu, then go to OC, then go to the next world, which is Neverland. I'm going to drop to Gantu. I'll go over here. So Gantu is the reason why I kept the poison and put the poison on my deck, because Gantu is affected by poison. So we have Stitch as a partner in that fight, and alongside poison and Stitch, if we get good RNG with Stitch shooting and helping us out a bit, we actually get we get to end him in 2 Spellweavers rather than 3, which is a lot better because it helps save us on our items to basically make sure that if we die, we don't get even more screwed. But if without dying from this point on, you only need about 22-ish Fabricadabras anyway, but I have double that, so I'm basically more than fine. Right, Gantu here. So Gantu is actually kind of a really specific fight if you fight him out normally. The reason why early Gantu was kind of hard before was because he actually one-shots you when you get here at that point of the game. So he's kind of difficult to deal with at that point. That should kill him. Easy Gantu. Right, so he actually one-shots you, and the attacks he does are based on your position to him. But with late Gantu, you just kind of sit in his face and Spellweaver, and he just kind of eats it all. Because he doesn't actually have any stagger animation. He's just a brick wall you lob damage at. So he just kind of does stuff. He doesn't really stun. He only really gets stunned by like specific attacks, or if you do the Stitch reaction command. Then we're going to talk to Phil, and we get to fight Zach. So this is our boy Zach Fair, and we're just going to destroy him a little bit because we need to. So he's affected by both poison and ignite, but ignite's way better. So we're going to go mash out the Spellweaver right as he tries to hit you there. Then I'm going to back off for a second. He's probably going to try and do something. And then he's going to try and slash me. And now he's dead. And we just spit on this boy. There he is. So that's how we deal with Zag. So after this fight, we have a fight with Hades and the Ice Colossus. The reason why it's the Ice Colossus is because on the PSP version of this game, it couldn't render the Ice Titan. It was too big. So they made a smaller version and they called it the Ice Colossus. Can you actually talk to Phil and not hit him, please, Aqua? That would be very useful. So Hades here. Hades can move to the one of the four corners of the arena, and depending on where he goes, it depends on what you do. So he actually went to the good corner. Nice. He says, all yours, Frosty. So the whole gimmick of this fight is Hades kind of stands on the side until the Ice Colossus is defeated, but we want to beat them both at the same time, so we're going to try and do that. I want him on this side, and if I get good luck with the Ice Colossus will freeze him. Oh, bad RNG. I got DM. That's fine, though. We're just going to run away. How much HP is he on? Oh, he's on no HP. It's fine though, so. This move's fully invincible, and then we're just going to run in his face and just wait for a second, and we're going to... There we go. And that was Hades. I lost 12 seconds from getting the desperation move there, but that's not too bad. Alright, so now that I'm at the end of that fight, and I have a map animation, Aqua, if you got anything you want to say, feel free to go ahead.
Our current goal is to beat the PB of ESA Summer 2021, which was $60,000, 325. We are getting very close with just over 1,000 remaining, so keep the donations coming.
Oh yeah, right, so this is Neverland. Neverland's a pretty basic world in this speedrun. It's go in a circle because during the plot we're on a scavenger hunt, but essentially it's go around the entire world and then go back into the room that I just left to start this world to do a boss fight. That's just this entire world. Alright, so there's actually a few things you can do to speed it up. There's some orbs that shoot you upwards that we need to go through to ascend up the mountain a little bit. Oh cool, I actually got the hit. As I said earlier, hitting enemies with sliding dash cancels the recovery animations. So here's the globs. They're apparently from one of the Tinkerbell movies, from what one of the other cage runners told me. And then we're going to bounce that one, and then you swing there to cut your momentum, so then you don't fly too high. So low jump, low jump. Right. So there's actually a bunch of stuff up the top. There's a Firaga chest. That's where Time Splicer is. For Aqua, there's a ton of other great commands up there, but we only need to go down the ground there. Here. All right. So these orbs, I missed triple, but I missed double and triple bounce. Nice. So you can actually combo all three of those orbs together to basically ascend incredibly quickly. So let's see if I can do this. Oh, I missed all the enemies there. Right, so now that we're back where we started, we get to fight Vanitas again. So Vanitas in this fight is affected by Ignite, Poison, and... oh, what is it? Zero Gravity, that's it. But we only have Ignites, so we're going to Ignite him, then we're going to bait him to swing at us, and we're going to basically do that. We need to hit him 10 times, and then he starts his diving attack or his desperation move. Luckily, in this case, he's actually vulnerable during his desperation move, and he can't dodge you, so... That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. So, dodge. That's 4. That's 5. That's 6. Come on, man. That's 7. That's 8. That's 9 and 10. So I try and combo 9 and 10s together. And then he does his dive, and then you can just end him like that. So that was actually a pretty good Vanitas 2 fight. And now we're actually going into basically the final fights of this run. So we have to make a quick stop at Mysterious Tower for more story reasons, for Aqua to meet Donald and Goofy. So, and then we get to go to Keyblade Graveyard. And Keyblade Graveyard actually has some pretty specific movement we have to do to avoid a bunch of fights. Yep, let's go. Right, so... the joke between a lot of us runners of this game is that Mysterious Tower is the hardest world in this run, and you'll see why. It's just ridiculously difficult. Like, we have to do 1 room of movement, or 2 rooms of movement, and God, it's just impossible. Right, so we're gonna do that, jump up there. Oh, easy, easy, easy. Right, so while I'm getting into Keyblade Graveyard, it looks like we have a donation. If you want to read that out.
Oh, of course I do. We have a whopping $100 donation by Anonymous. Thank you very much. All of it is going to the Super Mario Kart Crowd Control Run incentive. We also have $15 by Tippito saying, watch awesome speedruns and donate to a good cause. Gotcha. And take that, Alzheimer's. Thank you very much. This donation is bidding for Totodile's name, Croissant, in Pokemon Gold.
It always goes back to gotcha, take that. It never leaves. Right, so I mentioned at the start of the run about how movement works, where you have to time your inputs, do steps. If you don't do that here, you will get caught by these tornadoes. So the way these tornadoes work is one of them chases you at a time, and they're meant to drag you into fights. But by manipulating them, by changing the one that's chasing you, like I'm doing now, you can basically avoid the fights altogether. So, making sure I get this right. Easy. Right, cool. So that just avoids like 5 fights in a row with a bunch of really strong enemies. Then we're going to go into the final fights. Right, so go behind the Moogle shop to save like half a second. Let's go. Right, so the first of the final 2 fights is with a guy called Break. Break shoots bullets at us, but we're going to basically abuse that to abuse another type of finisher that we just got from Neverland. So this is the Sword Bill. So Sword Bill is Peter Pan's finisher, and Sword Bill is very broken. So let's see if I can get this going. Should jump. There we go. I jump and block him in the air. Easy. I now just have to wait for his phases to finish. So he'll do this, then he'll go on the ground, do a ground phase, and then... Oh yeah, he needs to do this attack first. Cool, that's that. And then he goes to the middle. And then, yeah, he just kind of gets bodied. Easy. Right, so we're coming into the final fight now. The final fight is with a possessed version of Ventus, which we like to call Vanitas. It's kind of a difficult fight. Mickey's here with us, which makes it both easier and harder. So if Mickey wasn't here, this fight would just be kind of long. But since Mickey's here, he can help a little bit, but he's not too useful. So he can do like 5 different things at the start there, depending on what he does, depends on how you deal with it. So I always do the Mickey thing here, and Mickey basically helps him go through his first phase. And now when he dives, you just Spell Weaver. You wait for a second, then block. Now I'm just going to wait for him to go through his phases now, because I don't want to... get too far into his phase. I need him to go to the middle is what I need him to do. Right, good. Alright, cool. And there should be... all goes well. Oh, easy. Easy. Oh, dude, that was a 47. Yeah, that was a pretty good fight, actually. So everything went well in that fight. So that was Aqua crit. This is the fastest any percent that you can do in BBS. Some quick shout-outs to Pestless, who has the world record for this category. He's a good friend of mine. Shout-outs to Marvin, who likes running Aqua Beginner, and just everyone who runs BBS. And if you want to run BBS, you can join the Cage Community Discord. We have all the notes available on speedrun.com for this game. It's a fun little speed game if you want to just kind of play a Kingdom Hearts game for like an hour-long run. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's all from me. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Alright, thank you very much for the thrilling Kingdom Hearts run. It was a pleasure to watch. Congrats on the run. Next up, we have Grand Theft Auto Ballad of the Game Tony, played by Ultima Omega, so stick around for that.